Clinical Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Bottas and Lando Norris wrap up the podium. But let's talk about the top 3 drivers and the worst 3 drivers of the Austrian Grand Prix. Welcome to my F1 channel. Welcome to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter in pole position. Let's talk about the top 3 drivers of the Austrian Grand Prix. In third place, we kick things off with George Russell. That is absolutely correct. What a weekend he had. Qualified P8, ladies and gentlemen. He made it into Q3 on merit as well. George Russell, what a phenomenal weekend you had. You did finish P11, and I know that's outside of the points, but I tell you what, in a Williams, where every top team finished well, nobody really had any DNFs that was worthy of note. My goodness, what a performance from you this weekend, George Russell, giving Mercedes something to think about. And the way you were defending, for God knows, it felt like an eternity against Fernando Alonso. You did extremely well, but of course, Fernando Alonso, the experience, it prevailed in that Alpine. But P11, ladies and gentlemen, it's not shabby at all. After all, it is a Williams. In second place, I mentioned that he was clinical. The Flying Dutchman, Max Verstappen, cannot stop flying. He makes this podium this weekend. Why? Because he's done the Grand Slam, ladies and gentlemen. He did pole position in qualifying, P1 to win the race, and also the fastest lap. The guy was in a race of his own, a league of his own. He was in the distance. Unbelievable scenes. This was Hamilton-esque. That's right, I said it. And to think, last weekend I said that was the easiest 25 points he would have ever received. Well, guess what? 26 points this weekend, because it was even better. I'll tell you what, there is some nos in that Max Verstappen car. I am certain of it. Remember the link between Fast 9 and Formula 1 over the past weekends? I'm just saying, there's something in there. P1, ladies and gentlemen, what a time to be alive. If you are English, if you are British, it doesn't really matter. But I tell you what, Lando Norris qualified in P2, front row of the grid. Yes, he qualified in second position. Can you believe it? In the McLaren, a McLaren on the front row. Oh my God, a tear was in my eye, ladies and gentlemen.
With a tear in my eye. This is the greatest moment in my life.
The man finished in P3 on the podium behind Valterri Bottas. Not too shabby. He finished ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris, man, you are growing in And when you consider what's happening with Daniel Ricciardo, which we'll get onto in the later segments, what a fantastic weekend. What a fantastic season. And did you hear the response from the crowd? They were fully behind him. On the Dutch crowd, by the way, I heard you lot chanting champion to Max Verstappen. But listen, guys, listen. I'm all for the Dutch. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm hoping Max could do something this season. But champions, after what? Race 6, 7, 8? Where are we? I don't know what race weekend we are. Aren't we meant to have 23 races? Pump the brakes. Cheer your man on. But champions, come on, you gotta be serious. Do not jinx this title. Whatever you do, Dutch fans, do not jinx them. Him, Max Verstappen, you know what I mean. Big up Feyenoord, by the way. Those are my top 3, ladies and gentlemen, of the Austrian Grand Prix. Honourable mention, Carlos Sainz. You think I didn't see you there, mate? You didn't make it into Q3, qualifying P11. You made it into P5. Good, steady race. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Mr. Carlos Sainz. I like the way Carlos likes to manage the situation. Whenever he's been put between a rock and a hard place, he somehow seems to land on cushions. I don't know how, but well done to Carlos Sainz. You had a very honourable mention today. Daniel Ricciardo, ladies and gentlemen, there's something to talk about. There's something to be happy about if you're a McLaren fan, if you're a Daniel Ricciardo fan as well. The overtaking, rude boy, I see you. Qualified P13, and you thought, oh, more of the same. Finished the race in P7, so very good at the end of the day. And we were getting some of that classic send it from Daniel Ricciardo, and it looked lovely. Okay, it was good to see. Danny, more of that, please. Thank you. Can't sleep on Valtteri Bottas. I predicted him to win the race. He finished in P2, faster than Hamilton again this weekend. Listen, Valtteri, you're doing what you can, man. You're making some chicken salad out of you know what. Last honourable mention, Fernando Alonso finishing in the points after that battle with George Russell, P10. When he started in P14, he's still squeezing the juice out of that lemon of a car called the Alpine. You're called the Renault for now, because literally you are squeezing lemons that you're putting out on the grid. Poor Esteban Ocon. I mean, how fragile do you want a tyre to be? I mean, the front wing wasn't damaged, the tyre was damaged. Well, I mean, what happened to him? Big up Fernando Alonso, because his experience is clearly just oozing out of this season. And we're going to see some more good things from Fernando. Let's get to the bottom 3 drivers now, shall we? Third place, Aston Martin. What the heck's happening? What the heck happened? I see you at the start of the race. I'm seeing Stroll and Vets, P5, P6, P7. I'm like, yeah, man, this is looking nice. Gone into the pits, obviously change the tyres, whatnot, boom. You slide down the grid. I'm thinking you're going to come back up as time goes on. I don't see this man sliding back up. What's happened to the Aston Martin? Why were they shabby? What on earth took place? being passed by a Williams? I mean, when I see Russell taking over Vettel, I said, hang on a minute, we can't just allow that to happen, and no one's going to mention it. Oh no, I am mentioning it right here. I see the Aston Martins behind the Williams. I see them behind the Alfa Romeo, behind an Alpine, and yet both cars started in the top 10. Like, what is going on, people? What is going on? And that crash, by the way, on Kimi Raikkonen, excuse me, Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel. Discuss, because I don't know what the flip happened there. Two experienced drivers looked like they were not even rookie year, you know what I mean? Look, F2, F3 drivers. And Kimi Raikkonen, on that, Kimi Raikkonen.
Sometimes it may be good.
In second place, ladies and gentlemen, Sergio Perez. Now look, let me be very clear about this. The FIA, you've had a Western Super, I'll get to you lot in a minute. But 2 penalties, Sergio, come on, you know the rules, okay? I understand the rules are garbage, but if you know the rules, stick to the rules. How'd you get 2 5-second penalties in a Formula 1 race on your 200th career race? I mean, come on, Sergio. There was a better time to pick this moment. And to think you started P3, I mean, you know, the Red Bull, it was looking delicious at the start of this race. Just the McLaren sandwiching in between you guys. The Mercedes were going for dust. You could see them in the rear view. And then you've got to mess it up like this and then brought Mercedes right back into the playing field. Sergio, man, I expect better from you. Manage the situation. You did look a bit hacked off as the race went on, and I think that's what probably caused more of the penalties as well. Emotionally, this is a man I know to be stable, to be calm and controlled. But this weekend, my friend, well, this race day anyway, you know, you dropped the ball. Drop the ball. P1, ladies and gentlemen, the worst driver of the weekend. I think it goes without saying. But we have to bring into question this man who we loved at the start of the season. We were ranting and raving about him. But is it too soon for him to be in Formula 1? But listen, as long as you've got Nikita Mazepin, we can't say this about this driver. But Yuki Tsunoda, you are number 1 in this situation. Why? What do you mean you've got a 5-second penalty for not entering the pit lane correctly, right? You've got to stay within the white line. Anybody knows this. But to do it twice, to do it again in the same race, listen, Yuki Tsunoda, yeah? It's the last time I want to see you up in this, because if I see you again, we need to have a massive inquiry about you. And man like Helmut Marko does not hold anything back, okay? When he lets off the strap, that is it, it's done. So Yuki Tsunoda, get yourself together, sort yourself out, and you know, do Japan proud, for goodness sake, okay? Japan hasn't had anything to rave about since Sato and Kobayashi, and less said about them the better. Yuki, you're talented. Get yourself together. You're in a good car as well. Ask Pierre Gasly. You're in a good car. You're talented. I need to see better from you, Yuki. Never want to see you here again. Those were the bottom drivers of the race weekend. Honourable mention, the FIA. Now let me ask you a question, because I'm pretty sure I was watching a Premier League football match. Why? Because of the officials and the VARs and everything. What's worse, VAR in the Premier League or the FIA stewards? Because I can't work out what the difference is, okay? This is ridiculous penalties you were giving out today. Unbelievable scenes. This must have been a record of how many penalties they gave away. And we're talking about for racing, for racers racing. Okay, Yuki, give him all the penalties you want. But listen, the one with Leclerc and Sergio, Norris and Sergio, I mean, it was ridiculous. Let the people race. Let's get a bit of contact. You know what I mean? This is not the NBA. Keep your 5-second penalties in the back, okay? I don't want to hear none of it. I don't want to see it ever again ruining the race the way it kind of did, to be fair. Off my chest now. Ladies and gentlemen, that was my review of the Austrian Grand Prix. Be on the lookout for the top 10 facts of the Austrian Grand Prix. That'll be coming up very, very shortly. Comment below who should have been in the top 3. Comment below who should have been in the bottom 3. Were mine correct? Were mine incorrect? Were they in the wrong order? Let me know who you lot think. Whew. Now we get a break. That triple header, I tell you what, I'm exhausted, okay? And I'm not even a Formula 1 driver. But I tell you what, we look forward to the British Grand Prix, Silverstone.
Come on, England!
Packed house. It's gonna be mental. Until then, people, lights out.